Hello and a very warm welcome to the brand new edition of Policy Watch. I'm Kruti Mishra. The Corporate Affairs Ministry has notified the company's Auditor's Report Order 2020, making it mandatory for companies to disclose all whistleblower complaints to the auditor while paving way for enhanced due diligence and disclosure on the part of auditors. The order will be applicable for audit of financial statements of eligible companies for financial years commencing on and after April 1st, 2019. The order is applicable to all companies other than standalone private companies with sales less than 10 crore rupees, banks, insurers, not-for-profit companies and also one-person companies. And for deeper insights and inputs on the topic, I'm joined by Mr. Abhishek Rajaram, Fellow Member, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and Mr. Ranjit Pandey, Immediate Past President, Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television, all of you. Mr. Pandey, let me come to you first. Take us through the highlights of this order.
See, Government of India policy is always there to have the, say, minimum government and maximum governance. And ecosystem has given a broad framework wherein companies act prescribe the way of disclosure, and thereafter there are three auditors: statutory auditor, cost auditors and secretarial auditor, to express their opinion on the financials and all non-financial transactions or whatever cost related things are there on that. So that this particular order has given the powerful tool in the hands of auditor to make more and more transparent disclosure. And of course, trust has been reposed on the auditors that yes, there is one person who is external and independent to the company, which will come and highlight the whatever is going on in the company on the financial transactions done in a particular financial year. Take you through the brief highlights. Yes, physical fixed assets category has been say well defined now. It is talking about property, plant and machinery. And of course, one major thing has been done is that property which is not in the name of the company or it is in the name of any employee or promoter or director, that has to be disclosed. And if it is not in the name of company, why it is not in the company, reason is also required to be given. Second part on the verification, physical verification of the assets also. Now auditor has to point out the discrepancies, and discrepancies are more than say 10%, then that has to be reported. They are also given the provision in regard to working capital loan taken on the current assets of the company. That is also required to be disclosed. And some of the, if these are taken and some quarterly from the banks and financial institution, and some returns or a statement is required to be submitted to the bank and financial institution, then it should be matching with the books of accounts of the company. So this is one of the major change which has been done, which gives the say auditor room to say highlight what is going in with the bank and what is there in the books. Another major change which has been done is evergreening of the loan. What is evergreening? It is basically one loan is going with the same party, thereafter term is going to be completed, and if term is going to be completed, then you settle the loan in lieu of another loan. So it is technically you have not repaid the loan, but you have just settled it and somehow adjusted it. So that is all. If that is happening, then definitely auditor has to report. Deemed deposit concept has been introduced, and that is another welcome change. Repayment of loan, major changes has been made, that what is the default, whether you have been declared as a willful defaulter or not, utilization, unutilization. So these major, we will discuss this in great detail later on. Reporting of fraud, of course ADT 4 has been filed by the company or not, that is also required to be commented upon the auditor. Whether you have considered the say whistleblowers say request or whatever whistleblower has told you about the fraud, that is also required to be considered by the auditor and reported. Some changes in regard to Nidhi companies, where default in payment of interest and repayment is required to be reported. Internal audit system, again auditor is required to comment that yes, it is commensurating with the size of and nature of the business, and further internal auditor's report is also required to be taken care and considered by the auditor at the time of reporting. Then registration of under RBI Act, this is another point which is that yes, some of the companies are not registered or registered. So if not registered and going ahead with the activities of NBFC or housing finance company, then auditors got the responsibility to report. If you are core investment company, then also it is required to be reported. And if core investment company continues to fulfill the criteria of say exemption or remain the core investment company, that is also required to be reported. And if you exempted, then you are continue to be exempted or not. Number of CICs in the company is also required to be reported, or group companies. So these are the changes. Cash losses related provision has been came that yes, if there is a cash losses in the company, that is also required to be reported. Resignation of the auditor. If one auditor resigns in the previous year and new auditor is coming, then what were the observation and concern of the previous auditor, that is also required to be taken care and reported by the incoming auditor. That is another thing. Financial ratio concept has been introduced, wherein financial assets and financial liability, some calculation is required to be done and reported. CSR, another unspent amount related provision has been changed, and how say ongoing project unspent amount is there, then what will be the treatment, how it should be reported, that is another point which has been added. And qualification in the CARO report by the group company, their auditor, if they are making some qualification, then consolidated financial statement should also talk about that. So these are the major highlights, major changes which has happened in the CARO order 2020. And idea is to give the more trust on the auditor, as I have told you earlier. And another point is that auditors should express their opinion on each and every point relating to financial transactions and financial statement given by the company.
Absolutely. So those were the major highlights. But a very important point that you made, that was about whistleblowers. Now, Abhishek, I'd like to understand, earlier there was no requirement for the companies to disclose any whistleblower complaint. Now they also have to report whether due diligence has been done or not. What would this mean for the companies?
I don't understand how an auditor will reply on this, or how the auditor will deal with it in CARO. Because first let us understand, there are 4 CAROs before this. One was in 2003, then it was upgraded in 2015, later in 2016. Now it is a paradigm shift in the auditor's role. Now with this CARO 2020, government thinks that chartered accountants are superhuman beings. And as far as my profession is concerned, I would say thank you to the government that they have gave us a great responsibility for dealing with these kind of things. But some of these things could have been dealt in director's report. So how we know how many whistleblowers have filed their complaints? Because most of the time whistleblowers usually file complaints with SEBI also, with government department also. Maybe they might approach with the auditor, or they might not approach with the auditor, or auditor get detail that this kind of complaint has been filed with the SEBI or any other. So how we will deal with it? Maybe investigation agencies would be dealing with it, because auditor, we say, a concept is that auditor is a watchdog, not a bloodhound dog. So thinking of investigating, and then one more thing which the sir said, that they have come with the financial ratios for the first time in auditor report. Now with this, they say that how much fixed assets are there, how much liability are there, and can those be sold, and liabilities would be met in less than 1 year. Now these kind of things, we are auditors, we will never teach how to do business. So that is, ratios doesn't tell everything. Otherwise there would have been no bankruptcy of Daewoo Motors. And one more thing, one more is there, that whether the term loan has been applied with the purpose intended. One more reason is there. So whenever a term loan is issued and in the parts, so then usually bank takes end use certificate. So if auditor has to comment on this, then why banks are taking end use certificate? Can we have 2 set of opinions, that end use certificate says that has been used for the end purpose, or auditor say no, this has not been used for the intended purpose, or but they are saying that whether the company has taken any funds to meet obligation of subsidiaries or joint ventures or associate. So these kind of things are regularly taken care by various certificates by the banks, and banks also visit companies and get a check on this. So doing a postmortem after 1 year through an audit report, now these kind of things, for example, a cash loss, how much cash loss has been incurred. So this should have been ideally made part of director's report, and auditor should comment on it, that whether whatever company is saying is correct or not, rather than asking the auditor to calculate on it. So
All right, I can see Ranjit nodding very vociferously. You want to address his concerns? Go ahead, sir.
What I feel that yes, audit is a post-mortem of the activity, definitely, and I think idea of the government behind this is very clear that although it is a post-mortem, but somewhere or some point of time there should be some stop or say early warning system kind of thing, that if auditor goes every year in the company and during the month of say April, March, and in fact I recall the circular of the Department of Company Affairs earlier, DCA, which talks about audit is a continuous process, it runs throughout the year. So it is not that only after 31st March auditors are supposed to go and meet the company. They can say review the transaction in between also, but yes, majorly a major review happens after, of course, closure of the financial year, because most of the transactions comes in totality after the financial year. Having said so, as far as whistleblower complaints are concerned, which was your main question, see, if it is coming into the knowledge, at least I will say that auditor will go on now, ask the question from the management that whether whistleblower say policy is there in the company or not, and if whistleblower policy is there in the company, whether some whistleblower has expressed or raised the concern or not, or at least auditor will say ask the various question to various stakeholders that some kind of say complaints are coming against the company or not. Some of the stakeholders now directly goes to the, because auditor's name and auditor's phone numbers are, everything is available in the public domain now. So they can go directly to the auditor, and if this particular provision will be there in the Caro report and it is coming in the balance sheet of the company, then it will open the gates, of course, and open the doors of the auditor for the stakeholders that go and blow the whistle. So now one door has also been opened. Of course, I agree with the point that board report should also consider some of these things like cash losses. My learned friend has said that can be included, and I am sure that government must be considering this to amend some part of the board report also, some part of the schedule also, which is trying to report the say financial transactions. And as I have told you in the beginning that there is a ecosystem. Some of the financial transaction is required to be, or expression of opinion of the auditors, statutory auditors, has to be done on the financial transaction. Some of the transaction relating to cost accounting, cost auditors are supposed to give the opinion. Similarly, we company secretaries are secretarial auditor. So non-financial transactions, particularly relating to say related party transaction, loans, investments, guarantees, which is basically compliance related issues and compliance related function. And I will say that most of the frauds which has happened in the company are genesis of the financial transaction. Of course, outcome is the financial transaction, but it happens with the quid pro quo or related party transaction, or say some of the things which is governance related issues. Yes. So those governance related issues are definitely taken care by the company secretary and secretarial auditor. Certain class of a company secretarial audit is also applicable. So I feel that government will amend at least 2-3 things more. One is secretarial audit report, which will make the more transparent disclosure in regard to governance and compliance related transaction. Financial transaction, they have of course made amendment. In the schedule also some amendment should be made, and of course cost auditor should also be required to be made more responsible. So if we will build the whole ecosystem, then definitely problem will not come. Management will also be equally responsible to disclose each and everything, because point is, if something is not coming on the table, how auditor will be able to come and say comment upon that.
Absolutely. So building
everything
the
should have,
ecosystem is
building
very
the
important. But
ecosystem is very
Abhishek,
important.
how do you think Caro 2020 will ensure that there's no information asymmetry between the stakeholders, shareholders, and the companies?
For betterment of compliance and for better disclosure and adding transparency, auditor has to comment on so many things which has been made mandatory part of this Caro, and for this he has to gather information from various stakeholders, maybe someone who has filed a complaint, which Ranjit sir has said, or might be with the directors or other employees, and he has to contact the bank also, because in this case there is a part where you have to disclose that whether it overdue is for more than 90 days. And if our auditor says it is more than 90 days and bank doesn't qualify as a special loan or NPA sort of things, it doesn't say that it's not more than 90 days, it reclassifies it. So then there would be somewhat discrepancies. So to bring everyone on the same platform, this Caro report has so many points which can help everyone. Maybe we could also see a disclosure where an auditor might say this loan is NPA, and bank auditor might say, or bank doesn't classify it as an NPA or special level loan. Then we could see something which can create trouble for the bank also. Today we had seen issues with Yes Bank. In later period, yes, some months earlier, we had seen issues with PMC Bank also. So these kind of things where a loan keeps on going, and auditor, my basic contention with this Caro is that some of this should have been part of director's report, or should be part of internal audit report or limited review report, which every year comes. For every listed company, they come with quarterly disclosure, and that has a limited review. So it should have been made part of those. An internal auditor usually goes monthly with them. They give their report monthly. Internal audit should match with the size of the company, and an internal auditor is there every month. So a whistleblower would feel more comfortable with talking to internal auditor, because he is available every month, say 5 days, 7 days a month, yes, or 10 days. So that would have been made part of that report. That would help us, rather than being doing a postmortem. We should be proactive. This is a time where proactiveness is required. Our economy is such, and nexus between corporates and bank frauds are increasing day by day. So then, if this would have been made part of internal audit report, it would help a lot to the country. It would have saved many lakhs of rupees which goes out of country through, or which is not returned to bank as a fraud. So asking this part of a Caro may be a good step, we can say the first step, but the best step should have been that this should have been made part of limited review report and internal audit report, because internal audit up to some extent is mandatory for the company, every company, and limited review you have to do quarterly. So those quarterly reports are published also. They are available in public domain also. They are filed with SEBI and other regulatory bodies. So that should have been done in the best interest of the company, economy, and country as well.
And of course, the focus is on enhancing accountability. But Ranjit, I'd like to understand that since we're talking about whistleblower complaint and also due diligence, but how would we ensure that these companies do not suppress these complaints that can impact their financials?
See, system is not like that they are not supposed to disclose each and everything. They are supposed to, and schedule for the preparation of the financial statement, and also the auditing standards prescribed by the institute, that is clearly laid down the policy that how a particular thing has to be disclosed in the financial statement. Having said so, of course, companies do suppress the information, yes, and it is if company do not suppress the information. So here role of the audit committee comes in a way, and it is very important to understand what is the role of the audit committee, what is the role of the investment committee, what is the role of the say board. Because if board functions properly and audit committee functions properly, and if they question each and every transaction, and if they review all the transactions before it goes to the financial statement, then definitely things will not be suppressed. The problem here is that boards are really not becoming independent. If boards are becoming independent and independent directors who are sitting in the board are coming and questioning first in the audit committee and thereafter in the board, then definitely things will come on the table and suppression of the information will not be. Yes, a lot of changes has been made in the say corporate governance framework of the country over past years. SEBI has made so many changes.
Yes.
And in fact, recent changes has made one of the say major things mandatory, that board whatever it is discussing and deliberating in regard to financial statement and all, that should come and it should be reported. So if board becomes independent, board becomes transparent, and board discusses and deliberate the whole issues, then I don't think that company will be able to suppress any of the information. So honors lies on not only on the say auditor side, because we as a statutory auditor or we as a secretarial auditor, company secretaries, we go and audit, and in fact company secretary is one of the major role is
Yes.
that comment on the board processes and system and process of the compliance.
So we have to ensure the independence of the board. But
Yes.
Abhishek, I have last 2 minutes on the show. How do we further enhance accountability and transparency in order to strengthen and improve the corporate governance in India?
First thing, what the earlier question which you had, that about the whether
Suppression of
the suppression of that depends on the honesty and integrity of the board. So if people are honest, so they will put forward all the facts before the auditor, and maybe any auditor, statutory auditor or secretarial auditor or cost auditor or tax auditor. So you will get right feedback and then right report, right comments on it. But for example, in PMC bank case, 40,000 fake accounts were opened, and fake transactions was presented before RBI auditors and C&AG auditors and other auditors. So that then if fake data is provided, then you cannot, any auditor can do nothing. But to enhance accountability and the framework which goes further, most of the things which are mentioned in CARO should be made part of internal audit report,
Yes,
limited
you
audit
mentioned
report,
that.
and
Yes.
director's report, because directors are the one who are accountable and responsible for right governance of the company, not the auditors. And when they mention in it, auditor can comment on it. We are not the one who should be commenting without their comments.
You wanted to make a point.
Yes,
Last
one
30
point.
seconds to you.
Last point is that one major thing which has been done in the CARO, that say consolidation of the say comments of the group companies auditor into this, and that is going to, because say if you see ILFS,
Yes.
major problem was not with the main company, major problem was with the subsidiaries or say other group companies. If that will come into the forefront of the say main company's report, and if it is considered by the say board of the or audit committee of the main company or holding company, then I think most of the problem could have been avoided. So this is another welcome step which has been done, and of course the pledge of the security of the say group and subsidiary company or joint venture companies are also required to be reported, and it has been made mandatory. So I feel and I believe that yes, it is going to further bring the transparency in the report of the holding company or main company,
Right.
and those kind of frauds may be avoided, because it cannot be eliminated, but yes, it can be reduced.
So we do hope that such frauds are averted in future. On that note, thank you so much for joining us on this discussion. So the order is expected to improve the overall quality of reporting by the auditors on the financial statements of the companies, and thereby lead to greater transparency and faith in the financial affairs of the companies. That's all we have for you in this edition of Policy Watch. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.